I think we should talk about why most people fail at their goals. A lot of people are going to be setting goals this time of year. Everybody does it. That's like, even if you don't set New Year's resolutions, you
have a hope of what you're going to accomplish, right? Well, usually.
It's a good time to kind of reset your thinking. It's a clean slate.
To reflect.
Yeah. But the truth is most people will fail at their goals. And I want to talk a little bit about why we think that happens. What do you think is one of the reasons why people fail at their goals?
I mean, one is the goal isn't clear, right? I mean, for me, like, I just had I'm going to do a thing, and it didn't really have anything that was really like a lead up to what I was building for.
You can't, like, a goal should be attainable, and in order for it to be attainable, it's got to be measurable and definable.
Oh, a SMART goal?
A SMART goal, yeah. I mean, like, sure.
No, yeah.
But you got to be able to, like, the goal. You got to be able to grab it. And when your goal is very ambiguous, like, I want to be a better developer, or I want to be, I don't know. It's hard to.
I want to be the next Apple. Okay, like how are you going to do that? Like what are the steps to get there?
Even something as like simple as I want to write a mobile app or something. Like it's too vague. Having a clear goal is important because it allows you to see the steps you need to do in order to take it. Mm-hmm. And when your goal is too vague, it's hard to know where to start.
Yeah. And this is kind of one of those things of like, working in the confines of a project or something like that, just putting yourself in a box, like you have to find a creative solution to achieve it.
Yeah.
So having that clear, concise goal is super beneficial to build that.
Another reason why I think goals fail is they're just too large. Like your goal needs to be achievable. In the
realistic.
Sense, yeah, like don't say I want to build. I'm gonna take this down the road of game development. I'm gonna build an RPG. That's a terrible goal if you've never built a game before. I heard one person say the reason why building an RPG is the worst game idea ever is because very little of the RPG is reusable assets. It's these trees of decisions, and you can't really reuse a lot of the components, whereas if you built Pong or something, you build a paddle and you can move it,
and then you can use that as the second paddle,
mirror the paddle, and you can move it. And there's when you build a game, you want to, especially when you're building a game for the first time, you want to make sure your game is simple enough where you feel like you can get it done. Mm-hmm. So yeah, don't say I want to be a game developer. I want to make RPGs. Be like, no, I want to make a game that has a very basic mechanic.
Has a single character.
Yeah.
X number of up, down, left, right, or just left, right, and jump or something. Yeah.
I remember one of the first games I made was a platformer where you started at the bottom and you had to get to the top. And your score was the time it took you to get there. So it had, the mechanic was jumping, and you won the game by just beating your previous high score. I think I built that in like a week, and it was really fun. Mm-hmm. Those are if your goal is to be a game developer, that's the type of goal you want. Something small.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that leads into the next point, which is kind of interesting. I think is. If you're going to do that, you might set barriers up for yourself that are too difficult to overcome.
Yeah.
So, like, I know for me, like, because we were trying to learn at the same time, and you're like, so you're using Unity at the time, and you're like, hey, you know what? I'm going to use the asset store. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to make it myself because I want to, like, really understand the fundamentals of whatever it is. Well, who finished something?
Yeah,
clearly wasn't me.
I found a player controller. It was like a 3D asset. I had a character moving around in 3-dimensional space in an afternoon, and I got to make a game. I finished the game.
Yeah. You had a person. I had the capsule that was doing whatever it does.
And the reason for that is I knew that if I didn't remove every possible barrier in front of me, I wasn't gonna finish it.
Yeah.
And a barrier might not be like that. It might be like, well, I can't be a game developer until I buy a new computer because my computer's not good enough. Your computer's good enough. Most computers are good enough. You don't need an RTX 4090 to be a game developer.
Yeah.
Your integrated graphics card and
Plenty fine.
your 8th gen or 7th gen Core i5 is strong enough to build a game.
Right. And really, it depends on the engine. Like, I have to build my own engine. No, you don't.
No, you don't.
Like, there's, like Unity or Godot, and I know we're talking about game development, but like, there's things out there to already help assist with that.
Yeah. Or like, an example is I want to build an app. I would encourage you to consider using Firebase as a foundation. Sure, you might not understand the nuances of how to build an API, but you can learn that in your next goal. Mm-hmm. But let's start by working with an API first.
Get something just to load and save.
The other thing I think why most people fail at their goals is they don't celebrate success and the little stuff like this YouTube channel, for instance. We have a goal. Our goal is to start a YouTube channel
to help people.
Yeah. And we made sure we celebrated every single milestone,
even the first downvote,
the first
unsubscribe,
the first negative comment. We celebrated we celebrated all those things, and we knew we needed to do this because we knew we were going to get really demotivated doing this, because it's really easy to like start a YouTube channel and then you're like, man, I don't have 1,000 subscribers, I suck, I'm just going to stop. But we realized if we can if we can improve on something every week and celebrate something new every week, we're going to be able to make this happen.
Yeah. And now we're at the point where like, we're pretty sure it's not just friends and family that subscribe. So.
Yeah. One of the milestones that we recently hit was we had a video, like a longer video that, had sustained viewership through multiple days. Because when you release on YouTube, it's really easy to get like
they promote it first for like a couple hours, and then
if it doesn't do well, they just stop promoting
it.
They pilot your video to about 1,000 people, and if you don't get any impressions or any clicks, then they kill it. Recently, like last week, well, by the time this airs, it'll be a few weeks ago, we had a video that broke 500 views. And now on our shorts, we routinely break a couple thousand views, but shorts are...
Which is a more recent development.
Yeah.
Just like, again, it's another thing.
Super jazz when we did that. We even had one that broke 10,000 views.
That was a real early one.
Yeah. And then we got really discouraged because...
It went back to the hundreds.
We're back to the hundreds. This video we released, it looked like it flatlined like most of our videos do. We get those few views and then nothing.
A couple here and there.
And then I'm laying in bed and all of a sudden it's like, well, so-and-so's watching it. So-and-so subscribed. So-and-so's watching it. And I'm like maybe YouTube's giving us a shot. And we broke 500, 600 views. We might break 1,000. And we're going to celebrate every single one of those milestones. We celebrated 100 subscribers. Heck, we celebrated 1 subscriber.
That wasn't
5
us.
subscribers, 10 subscribers. Like, just if our goal was get 1 million subscribers, or even get 1,000 subscribers, we wouldn't have had any opportunity to celebrate yet.
Yeah.
We would have been demotivated. We would have given up. We've been doing this now for we have 23 weeks of episodes
at this point in time, not counting when this comes out.
So we've probably been at this for 26 weeks, half a year basically.
Yeah.
I
mean, and I think just going that long is, an achievement unto itself.
Yeah. Exactly. The success of never missing a Friday. Those are all things you need to do. And if you don't celebrate those successes, it's like you get the wind sucked out. It's like I want to lose 50 pounds. If you don't celebrate each 5 pounds you lose,
or one, or what, because sometimes it's hard to just lose one.
Well, the water weight makes it hard to know if whatever. Yeah. But if you don't celebrate losing a pound, you're going to become very discouraged. The other thing too, and this one is going to be a bit harder for people to swallow, but you have to embrace your failures. A lot of times people look at failure as a negative, and our whole culture just sucks about this. Like, we penalize kids for failing in school.
It's now you know what not to do.
Yeah. What's that old Edison quote? He didn't fail so many times trying to.
Oh, he just
figured out a bunch of different ways not to do it. Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah. But just embracing your failures. One of the philosophies that you and I have that we've done a lot at the places we've worked at is we embrace the idea of fail fast. I tell developers all the time, I would rather you fail quickly, learn from the failure, and deliver success earlier than if you were to take a longer time and never fail.
Right. Because if that does turn out to be a failure, holy crap, you just wasted, not that you wasted, but you spent a lot of time to, now how far back do you have to go?
Yeah, or even if you don't fail. Let's say you made no mistakes, but you're just super cautious. You've missed out on, time is a limited resource, and you're missed out. There's opportunity cost.
Yeah.
With going,
like learning, like, oh, hey, let me try this shortcut.
Yeah.
Okay, it didn't pan out. Okay, now I know why the shortcut doesn't work.
Plus, we learn more from our failures. I mean, there are key moments in my life where I failed miserably that I hold on to, and it shapes the type of person I am. The successes, they feel better in the moment, but you kind of move past them. It's the failures you kind of carry with you. Yeah. And if you can learn to...
And the thing with failures is they're personal to you.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's, me 10 years later, I'm like, oh, Robert, you really disappointed me 5 years ago when you did. Like, no, like, I mean, maybe I might, but like, for the most part, I'm not going to remember that.
You're going to remember your failures.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's more worried about themselves and they're worried about the person next to them, generally.
Yeah. And if you can channel, like, if you can take that negative energy and channel it into, like, opportunity to learn and grow, it doesn't matter whether you fail or succeed, you're moving forward.
Or if you really want to be a sadist, like, make that a challenge of like, okay, this didn't work this time, but let me find an application for it to work.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like ways we failed in this channel. I mean, we've done a lot of videos that are just duds.
Oh, I mean, again, like, yeah, negative. I mean, again, negative comments, negative, unsubscribes, things like that. Which a lot of that's just natural, right? Because just trying to find your voice. No, I mean, heck, the setup that we've done, like, now we're in a little bit more spacious area of being in a garage rather than my kitchen, which is we're feet away from whatever we're doing.
Picture like a tiny eat-in kitchen and remove the table and put this here with a giant green screen where the margin of...
It was like 3 feet maybe?
Yeah, we had a really hard time setting that up. But we learn and we make improvements, and if you can own your failures, don't let them paralyze you, learn from them, explore new ideas, try new things. I have 2 daughters, and one of the things I really want to instill in them, they're 9 and 5, is the idea that failing is good. And you're not going to be great at something out of the gate. We're going to watch this video in 5 years, and we're going to be like, man, we really sucked at this. But we learned a ton along the way, and we got really good.
Yeah. And as a developer, as you get through more and more of your career, like, you're going to look at stuff you did 1 month, 6 months, a year ago, and you're like, what was I thinking?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like, that's what I tell people is like, okay, if you don't feel like you've grown, just look at what you did last year and be like, if you don't get shocked and appalled at what you did, then okay, maybe there's still more growing to do.
Yeah, if you're looking back at the code you wrote 3 years ago and be like, yeah, I was a great developer, you probably haven't grown in that time. Because we should be. I mean, this is a craft that is constantly evolving, and we should be growing with it.
Yep.
So embrace your failures. Don't beat yourself up. Everybody fails. Don't like shrug them off, because you should look at them and understand.
Yeah. Why didn't it work?
Why didn't it work? Yeah. yeah, it's really important to do that. The other thing, and this is the last one I got, is one of the reasons most goals fail is you don't tell anybody about it. And I think the reason we don't tell people about it is we want an escape plan. I was really reluctant to tell anybody that we made a YouTube channel.
Yep.
Because I was embarrassed about it. I didn't want people to look at me that way. And I was worried that if I gave up or I quit,
it'll like blemish.
It'll look bad at me.
Yeah.
And ironically, it's that last one that keeps me motivated to continue. It's one of the, it's not the only reason. It's one of the reasons that I continue to do this is I have a group of people that now that they know, they kind of keep me accountable.
Mm-hmm.
They're asking questions. They're engaged in what I do.
Or they're just genuinely excited in what we're doing.
Yeah. And they encourage you. Encouragement is huge. Now we have each other, but it's really cool when we hear from somebody that we know, or even better, that we don't know, that says, hey, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Keep it up. But yeah, telling our friends and family, and some people are going to poo-poo it.
They're the haters.
Yeah. And you just got to kind of let that slide off you. And maybe there's some tact in like, who do I tell? Like, you don't want to tell everybody.
Yeah. I mean, because like sometimes I think it's just human nature, right? Is if you tell everyone like, I'm going to go work out a lot this year. Okay. Like, and then you feel good because you're satisfied or satisfying the idea of doing it rather than actually doing it.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, so to your point of being tactful and somebody that either might be a companion in helping you toward that goal.
Yep.
You know, so like you mentioned about working out, you know, like if you're self-motivated to do that, hey, good on you.
Yeah.
Right. But if you got someone that's like, hey, did you go work out today? Or, hey, let's go at lunch or something like that, you know, that's going to keep you going more.
We have a friend who he does indie arcades, and he makes these arcade cabinets, and he partners with indie game developers, and he installs their games in these cabinets, and he goes to local bars and events, and he says, hey, I want to put these cabinets in your thing, and I'll you know, it's this beautiful synergy between local businesses and these indie game developers, and this guy facilitates that. And I remember when I worked with him, I made it a point at least once a week, because I was excited about to say, hey man, how are you doing? Have you made any progress? Like I wanted him to.
It's a cool idea
to succeed. It's a great idea, by the way. Mooncat Arcade, if you want to Google it, I think he's got his socials and website still up.
He's making the rounds again.
Yeah.
He's doing some VJ stuff right now, but
COVID kind of killed that idea for a little bit, but it's coming back.
Yeah.
But yeah, check out Mooncat. He's a friend of ours. We love and support him, but just like I would go out of my way during the workday just to walk up to him and say, hey man, I love what you're doing. Are you any news, any updates? And he'd get really excited, and then he'd be like, man, thanks for talking to me about that. You motivated me to like do more. Cause it can kind of feel like you're on an island sometimes when you're trying to achieve these goals. And especially when you got some people who are like, well, that's a stupid goal, or there's no way you're going to achieve that. Or what do you think, you're going to be the next Mr. Beast?
Yeah.
Like
yeah, those people suck.
I know.
Well, I mean, but like, you know, because you know, that is, again, back to the ideas of barriers, right? Now you have this mental barrier of, I'm just going to get in my way, and like, it's not even going to be worth it.
Yeah. So tell people, like, don't keep it a secret, but be careful who you tell. Find those people that are going to champion you, support you. Maybe tell a few people who might think the idea is a little crazy, just to kind of get some constructive criticism. So to summarize, why do most goals fail? 1, it's unclear what your goal is. 2, the goal is too big. Make it small. 3, we will sometimes create barriers to starting. Cut that out. You don't need a fancy setup to start your game development.
What is the bare minimum that you truly need?
Yeah.
Like, and honestly, again, the game development thing, there's so many free tools to just start with low cost.
Yeah, I remember when we started this podcast, I'm like, I want these mics, I want a table, I want a green screen. Truthfully, we could have done it with a webcam
Oh, we get it.
on
Yeah.
our computers, and we weren't going to let the not getting this stuff stop us. The other one, celebrate your success. A lot of people don't celebrate successes, even if it's like a silly success, like getting 2 subscribers.
Or I was able to load and save my data.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, honestly, like sometimes that's a huge
Yep.
achievement because, you know, that might have been a week's worth of work to figure out how do I even get this set up?
Hello world.
Yeah.
That's a success. Embrace your failures. We learn best from failing. I believe in the principle of fail fast. Failing is not a bad thing, and if you've been taught that, shame on those people who taught you that failing is bad.
You know what's funny is one of the guys who work with, he's never mowed a lawn before
He's never
because his parents were just like, you're gonna do it wrong.
really.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
I know. Like it like, you know, sometimes you're gonna get those things in your head, you know, and you know, now he's a 30-something adult learning how to mow a lawn. You know, so it's really kind of putting yourself out there and like, again, being okay with failure.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to learn otherwise.
Yeah, as a father with 2 daughters, that irks me. Like because sure, like yes, a child is going to do something worse than you, but that's your job as a parent is to help your children fail in a safe space.
Mm-hmm.
Like my wife is teaching my oldest how to crochet, and my daughter showed me her crochet, and she's like, "This sucks." I'm like, "No, this is a start. Like I can't. What you did, I can't do." You've already done more than I can do. Let's celebrate that, and just keep practicing.
Yep.
And then lastly, why most goals fail. We don't tell anybody about our goals. We keep them secret. Tell some people.
Be selective.
Be selective, but yeah, tell some people.
Yeah. Or be deliberate.
If you want, share what your goal is in the comments. We'd love to hear it. And we wish everybody a happy new year.
Yeah. Happy 2024.
And we hope that this inspired you to stick to your goals.